Hey, what's goody, Frye gang? Now, I have another side order theory or thought, I guess. Alright, I know this is like the 10th or 11th side order video I've made, but I'm not milking it, alright? We have to wait like an entire half a year before this comes out, alright? So we got a lot of time to wait and a lot of time to speculate. So, bars, why not just throw all my ideas out there just as like a, oh, what if? So like, I don't actually believe this to be the case, but it is a possibility, and it's just nice to think about, something to just put out there just for fun, and plus I'm need something for content anyway. I don't know what to make, but I think I may have figured out, or at least have a thought about the Pearl drone and why Pearl is a drone. Perhaps Pearl, her like real actual body is still out there, but her soul or consciousness, I guess, is in the drone. So it's still Pearl herself, but not actually Pearl, because if the whole simulation thing is true, and also if it's true that side order is Marina's perfect world that I've went over in the last video, or in the video about the Instagram post, if both of those are true, then it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that Pearl's consciousness could be uploaded into that drone and her body's out somewhere else. So maybe her body is held outside of the simulation and Marina transported her consciousness into that drone so they could be together in her perfect world, because we know at the end of in the results actually of the final fest in Splatoon 2, Marina was talking about how Off the Hook breaking up would be like the worst thing of all time, because Off the Hook means everything to her and she doesn't want it to break up. So maybe after Team Chaos won, she went into her simulation or whatever and created her perfect world, which is what side order is. And of course she wanted Pearl with her, so she kind of transported Pearl's consciousness into the drone so she could have Pearl in there with her. But that might be after like Commander Tartar came in and took over, and then Marina was like, oh Pearl, I need your help, but I'm gonna transport your consciousness or whatever into a drone so nothing happens to you, because they know how much of a threat Commander Tartar is, and Marina wouldn't want anything happening to Pearl. So in order to make sure she doesn't get hurt, she keeps her body outside of the simulation but just transports her consciousness. So if the Pearl drone gets destroyed, her consciousness would just go back to her body. And this, on like a Project Gestalt type of thing, where in Nier, all their souls were transported into like synthetic android bodies, kind of. So I'm gonna give a little bit of a Nier lore lesson here to kind of help you understand what like gestalts and replicants are, for those of y'all who don't know, because I swear this could play into side order. Just give me a second to explain. So the series before Nier, that Yoko Taro, the developer of Nier, before Nier, he created a series called Drakengard, or Dragon Dragoon in Japan, and it actually is interlinked with Nier. So at the end of Nier 1, the Queen Beast, so the ending of Nier 1, or the ending of Drakengard 1, is like the opening to Nier. So that's some knowledge you need to know. But at the ending of Drakengard 1, the Queen Beast is defeated and falls towards Tokyo, I'm pretty sure. And when she falls, Maso flakes off of her body, which is like an extra dimensional particle that came from the Drakengard universe. And any human that comes into contact with Maso contracts the White Chlorination Syndrome. The White Chlorination Syndrome basically forces a pact to be formed with the god of another dimension. While refusing the pact guarantees death, accepting the pact turns the individual into a legion, one of the god's hostile and berserking servants whose aim is the destruction of humanity. So, and this started spreading worldwide. I'm gonna give like a very brief and simplified overview. If you want to like learn more about it, I recommend watching Brando SP's video on it. He made such a great video, and I've watched it over and over again because it's so entertaining. But very short and sweet, white chlorination syndrome starts to spread throughout the entirety of the globe. And in order to combat this, the government, or just like all around the world, the governments work together to perform Project Gestalt, which is basically transporting the souls of humans into like synthetic bodies, so that way they can kind of, for a time, fight off white chlorination syndrome, because if they're in those bodies they can't be affected by it, so they can just stay in those bodies, which are called replicants, and the human bodies are called gestalts. So they transfer the souls from the gestalt into the replicant and hopefully kind of wait out white chlorination syndrome. And I'm not gonna spoil it here. If you want to learn more about it, head over to Brando's video, but that's like the very basic thing. So they transport the souls from the gestalts into the replicants. So that could have been a similar thing that Marina did with Pearl, just transport her consciousness or soul from her body into the Pearl drone. And this isn't actually too far-fetched, because in Splatoon they have the technology, perfect cloning technology, as we saw with Judd and Lil Judd, and fucking atomic bombs big enough to completely obliterate Antarctica. Alright, humans in real life don't even have nukes big enough or strong enough to do that. So with this kind of technology, it's not too far-fetched to think that they could at least, you know, try to transport souls between bodies or fake bodies or whatever. So perhaps when Commander Tartar somehow came back and invaded Marina's perfect world, which is side order, Marina was like, oh, Pearl, I need your help, but I don't want anything to happen to you, so I'm gonna transport your body or your soul from your body into this drone. So in case anything happens, you will still be safe, because we know how dangerous Tartar can actually be. So transported Pearl into the drone and then called Agent 8 in to help, or somehow Agent 8 got sucked in. Or maybe when Marina was like transporting her Pearl's soul into the Pearl drone from like the real life into the simulation, she kind of was like sucking her life force out and putting it into the drone. Perhaps Deadfish and Agent 8 got sucked in along with it, and that's why they are there. All right, and even Deadfish herself says that she was sucked in somehow. She was just an innocent bystander, got sucked in. So that could have happened and all that insane shit. So I mean, it's not too far-fetched to think. Now, I don't actually think this is going to actually happen, but it is nice to just think about and throw out there as like a what if, you know, just have all these stupid fun side order theories that will obviously never come true, but they're fun to speculate about. But that could possibly explain why Pearl is a drone. Like, her real body is safe somewhere in Inkopolis maybe, and then she's just in the drone in Marina's simulated perfect world. So I think that's a cool little spin on it. I don't expect this to actually be the case. I'm sure we'll get an explanation as to why Pearl is in the drone and where the hell Marina's at, but for right now we have very little to go on. So I mean, I gotta grasp at everything that I can. And as for side order, it could have been inspired by Nier, especially Automata, because just look at it. All right, Inkopolis looks almost exactly like the copied city, especially the old version that we saw in the very first trailer for side order. The Spire of Order looks more like the copied city than it does now. And given the whole like Project Gestalt thing tying in, it's not too much of a stretch to think that Splatoon 3, or at least side order, was kind of inspired by Nier Automata, because even like the lore is kind of similar. I'm not going to spoil too much about Nier lore, but in Nier Automata especially, obviously everyone is an android. The humans made the androids, and so the androids look up to the humans as like their ultimate masters. Basically, they're gods, and everything they do is for the humans who are residing up on the moon. And the reason they're all up on the moon, humanity's on the moon, is because aliens came and invaded Earth. So the humans created the androids to kind of fight off the aliens and rebuild Earth kind of for them to come back down. So they stayed on the moon until the war was over and the androids took care of all of the aliens so they could come back onto the moon. Now there's a major, or they can come back down onto Earth, but there's a major twist and I don't want to spoil it because Nier lore is probably some of my favorite lore ever. Alright, some of the best lore I've seen. So I definitely recommend checking it out and checking out the rest of Brando's videos on Nier because you won't be disappointed. But and as we know, Inklings and Octolings kind of are the same way. They kind of idolize the humans with everything they do are kind of modeled after the humans, right? All their clothing. I mean, I guess the weapons are all like real life stuff we have now. All the gear and everything. So, I mean, there's a couple connections. I mean, maybe that's just a generic popular trope of just like this post-apocalyptic species seeing humans as like their ultimate creators or whatever. Maybe I'm just not well versed in that type of thing, but it could be inspired by Nier Automata, since Nier Automata was a very huge and influential game when it first came out, and even still is to this day. All right, Nier Automata or Automata, however you pronounce it, Automata is still a big deal. All right, it's one of the best games ever created, one of the most influential games ever created. So it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, Side Order was somehow kind of inspired by it. But yeah, that's really it for this video. All right, just an idea I was thinking about the entire time I was at work, and I just needed to get it out and explain it to y'all, or just share it with y'all just to see what y'all think. And maybe y'all can tell me some of y'all theories, or I can make a video of like all of y'all's different little fan theories and put them all in one video, and then just talk about each of your theories and just go into them. Because I mean, look, it'll be fun content. We have all this time to wait for Side Order, all right? So why not do something with it, you know? But I've talked on for way too long. I hope y'all had a great day. I love y'all. But that's really about it. So your next mission, play some goddamn Splatty.